Hello there, guys. I just want to preface this by saying that this is my first YouTube video for a battle. The editing will be a bit jumpy, cutty here and there. I've made a couple mistakes calling Argentina, Germany, stuff like that. But this is my first battle, so anything that is wrong in this stream, please do let me know. And anything wrong with the editing, put it in the comments. It'll help me improve the videos in the future. And let me know what you think. Whether this should keep going. If you tell me that, or whether I'm doing it really bad, and you think, you know what, this isn't good. I think it's terrible. I think you should stop. But today, Hungary and Argentina face off against Germany and Poland. I have recorded this battle and streamed it on Twitch. I'm using the VOD from that mostly. I know the result at this point of the battle and I know what happens, but I just want to let you know that it's a really good battle and you guys should really stick it through, and please be patient if there is anything wrong with the video. Much love, and you'll probably see future me at the end of the video as well. Now, in regards to the map, this is Leipzig. I do believe that this map is in the game already. I heard rumors of a new map, a snow map. I'm not sure whether the game's actually started. It might have. Bulkona, the Lancers of Baxtona, are advancing here. Doesn't look very supported. Speak of the devil, here's the support, the Point Breakers Hussars and Randoms Lancers. So we have a Polish cavalry force looking to claim the fields outside of Leipzig here. And here comes the Argentinian cavalry and the whole Argentinian force here. We have forces of Cartusia and Alvaro moving up, and here comes the infantry as well. We have Monscore's lancers who are chasing after the dragoons here and seem to have caught them. Professor's dragoons, one of them going down, huge difference. This hussar is hanging on by a thread from Monscore, but that is a huge capture early game, with all hussars getting out alive. That dragoon will not be able to come back. Where is the rest of them? They seem to have retreated here. There they are. Three here. We do have the one Roman merc, Belisarius, here. He is bringing howitzers along. We have the German skirmishers here from Miles. And we have Polish lines from Professor having skirmishers and a whole lot of howitzers. You won't see much cannon usage. Howitzers are the meta currently, heavy meted, much preferred over cannons because of the reverse range factor. There is howitzers firing from inside of Leipzig here, from Polish forces of Meccano and Zach, and they seem to be moving out. Varian, the leader of the Polish forces now, is moving to flank these Argentinian forces. They do see it coming, with Germanu moving to counter and Kurtex reinforcing that line there. We have a very stalematey thing where howitzers are just currently trading back and forth. We do have line infantry flanking here. Howitzers quite close almost here. I feel like the reverse range factor won't really get much value in this position. Unfortunately, I do believe they want to keep it as far back as possible, preferably, to my knowledge, further back the more damage it does. They do have the skirmishers of Varian, the Polish-Lithuanian Crown Prince, firing on J-Man's elites. Now they are returning fire on Mancano's elites, who are moving through the city of Leipzig right now. They do have the defensive bonus of being inside the city. But J-Manu is moving. He looks to be moving mostly alone to counter this force, which seems to be a bad mistake. He doesn't realize, I don't think, how many Polish forces are really moving through Leipzig. You can see a huge force of Poles, elites and skirmishers, howitzers, and it's just so much. It is a force between Zach and Varian moving here, and J-Manu is in trouble. He's only got the 5 elites. He needs reinforcements, and here Kurlex comes, and the cavalry is moving from Alvaro, hopefully looking to hit those skirmishers or that artillery that he is looking for. But you can see the whole Argentinian force now rotating backwards, falling back because of this huge Polish flank. Absolutely insane. And it seems like Manu is being abandoned by his teammates almost. This elite is sure to be dead now. A huge charge. Oh my god. Oh, Toxic on Discord. Oh, bro, I just started doing this. It's awesome. Now, the Polish forces, huge hussar charge, isn't going to catch anything. It will catch these skirmishers, absolutely slaughter them for free. Manzano, the leader of the German forces, has pulled off a quite comfortable capture there. There are Polish cavalry lancers moving, but the plant of Germany seems to hit the square in time. Luckily here, Manzano's hussars right there are doing a wonderful job of just harassing the forces, and the Poles are finally being turned back towards Leipzig now. It seems like Finn's elites now are causing issues, although they do not really want to. It doesn't seem like neither side really wants to commit to this fight, although here comes the huge Polish advance. This is what we've been waiting for almost. This is what has kind of been inevitable. Poland seems to have been controlling this game early. Germany seems to have a lack of organisation. As much as the lancers and whatnot and elites, artillery, Poland seems to be doing well on every single aspect. The only thing that hasn't really gone well for the Poles is the cavalry fight. Losing that dragoon early and losing that skirmisher was important things that happened early game. The howitzers are still absolutely pounding these forces from far away. This is going to be heavy damage because of the reverse range factor. Professor's dragoons just healing up at the back there. We have a German hussar force that has been left behind, I think, that is finally coming up. Maybe they've forgotten about them. Here comes the charge. Mancano and Finn's elites meet here. The Hungarian forces and the Polish forces. Here come the German elites now, or the Argentinian elites, sorry, to meet. But the Poles will outnumber and the Poles will destroy if they're not careful. But here comes Manzano's hussars coming to clean up these skirmishes. This is an important part of the match. Whoever claims this victory could turn the tide of battle in their favour. The elites over here have won from the Hungarians, and it looks like the Polish forces are mostly routing at this point, although there are huge, heavy elites still fresh on this battlefield here. Mancano, very damaged though, and here goes the elites, the hussars cleaning up all the damage stuff, and there is not much left of these Polish forces. It seems to be a complete shattered. As much as Manzano has lost his hussars, the Poles have lost a huge force in this combat. Now, it seems to be that the skirmishers are trying to retreat here. Whether the hussars have the health to counter it, they do just survive the volley of the skirmishers, and they get out alive. 3 hussars from Manzano, and the elites that engaged mostly seem to have survived. The only one that really took the hit there was Finn for the Hungarians. I believe that's the Hungarian flag. It might also be Argentinian if I am wrong. Forgive me. But the Polish forces over here and the German combined forces are heavily pushing. Here they have turned the battle almost. The Roman forces, the Roman mercenaries have almost turned the battle on its head. The lancers coming in, almost harassing to a degree these Argentinian forces, claiming a howitzer. That howitzer is looking really dangerously low as well from plant. Katusha's lancers need to do something here by the seams of it. They are really trying to pull back, but both these howitzers are really damaged. The lines are really damaged. Everything here is so heavily damaged, and here comes the charge from Backstoner that routs a lot of these lines and a lot of these howitzers. Not to be coming back now. They are almost pinned against the river. There is not a lot of room left to run, and the skirmishers now in trouble. There is cavalry right there, but the Argentinian lancers are just holding them off here, just about, as the Polish lancers from Backstone now come in, routing that elite that was probably useless at this point. They don't have the time to regroup to the Argentinians. They're trying their best. They're fighting to the last. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like they have the organisation. The cavalry push and the turning of the battle by the Poles have done an outstanding job moving around the side from both flanks and condensing them, squishing them in from the sides. has done a hugely successful job. The Lancers from Germany, I would say, haven't done enough this battle. I haven't really seen much counterplay. Banskare did really good with his Hussars, and here comes the charge into Katusha's rear, and those forces are routed. They are not coming back. Charged in the rear, massive debuff, and Random will just claim a huge victory, destroying a whole Lancer force here. The Argentinian forces are down to their last here. Skirmishers and elites are just falling back. There is no artillery left. There is no cavalry. Oh, there is artillery left, my apologies. There are 2 howitzers that have pulled away from Barano, I believe his name is. I can't really tell. It's not really easy. Yes, Thomas there having howitzers, and there are lancers left. Alvaro's lancers that we've seen a couple times already this game. We have seen them bounce around, but the Polish forces are just too big by the seams of it. Their men number hugely. If we look at the screen here, Manskara has done a hugely amazing job, killing 22 forces and only losing all 6 of his hussars, but it's an outstanding job. But Baxtona, with his lancers, killing 14 and only losing 1 lancer of his own, is insane. That is insane, and that means he's still got 4 lancers hanging around on this battlefield that could cause absolute havoc and get his kills way up. As much as the Poles don't seem to be doing outstanding on kills, it's the numbers. I think the Poles have spawned in with 3 extra armies, which gave them this ability to flank in, crush on the sides, and push them like this. And I am missing some combat by the seems of it, or maybe it is just a continued retreat from the Germans. They are crossing another river, but they seem to be counterattacking now almost. The lines of Plant and the riflemen of Comsmaro are pushing. Here comes Bactona's lancers though. They are elite. They have 3 stars or 2 stars each, which is insanely important in this game to my knowledge. Professors are howitzers at 5-star, huge. And these dragoons, but it seems like the Argentinians are running out of options here. They are trying their best, they're holding their ground, they're throwing themselves back and forth, but they don't have the forces. There is obviously no respawns to my knowledge in this event, and the Roman and Polish forces flank the far left, and I don't think the Argentinians responded fast enough. It seems like they are going to get crushed in the center here with the Lancers of Baxtona, and the Roman and Polish forces combined of Isaac and Belisarius are going to crush the forces that stand against them. If they just keep pushing now, they could probably push all the way through. I think they could break the whole thing, but now these Roman artilleries are looking weak. I mean, they're too close to the front, and the cavalry is lurking. It does see its opportunity, but it pulls back knowing that the Romans will hit their square. Now the Lancers pushing heavy, crossing the bridge here, the Polish forces looking to shatter any resistance left of the Argentinians. It's mostly just riflemen and Lancers at this point, and it seems to be all over here. There is a Argentinian elite here at the back that is trying to heal, but I don't think it'll get the opportunity as the Dragoons now crash into what's left of the Argentinian artillery. The last of their Argentinian riflemen are going to shatter. It seems like it will just go down to this one elite down here. There are some Lancers still trying to lurk around. Or Manskaro's Hussars, sorry, I forgot that they existed. I forgot that he was still on this battlefield, and he is still lurking and wreaking absolute havoc with his Hussars. He has done an outstanding job this battle, and on top of how well he's playing, he has been leading the Argentinian forces. I mean, he could have just claimed those Hussars, but he realises the real threat of the skirmishers. As much as the artillery does land and crush his Hussars, it was smarter to go for those skirmishers, take the skirmishers out. I really like his initiative there. Now, is there any Argentinian forces left on the battle? I do not believe there is. It seems to have all been shattered by the Polish, and it seems to be a decisive victory here, with the main names here being Manascare doing an outstanding job for the Argentinians there, and Baxtona doing one of the best on the battlefield with his Lancers. Random also doing an outstanding job with his Lancers with 9 kills, 1 loss. Obviously, the infantry won't get as many kills as the cavalry, mentioning that. The cavalry forces will be quite important here. There is a hussar force here. Oh, my apologies. I forgot about the rule. You can respawn when your entire team dies. So here is the big respawn of Argentinian and Hungarian forces. They respawn on this side of the river. The Poles now have to reset, having lost a good chunk of their forces in this fight. They have to set up a relatively solid defense to keep this up, because I do not believe the Argentinians will be losing this combat this time. I feel like they hopefully will have learned from their mistakes and they will be able to develop. I am just scanning the battlefield for any other Argentinian forces that could be lurking, but it looks like it's just the forces that are crossing the bridge right now, which will cause havoc. Manascare back with his hussars. We know how lethal he can be with them. They are huge. As the Roman forces try and engage, but they are going to die. Fighting elites with lines is never the play. And here comes a huge attack from the Argentinians, absolutely shattering the Roman line. Every man was ordered forward there. But blobbing isn't good. Artillery can absolutely farm on blobbing units. It's not the play 100% of the time. And the Polish forces now are having to reel back hard. Polish forces now will have to set up a defense at Leipzig, by the seams of it. Point Breaker here, his elites, veterans, very heavily doing a lot of shooting and a lot of damage, as seen by the stars there. You can see how well they have been doing this battle. I just realised this entire time I haven't had the sound on, and I very heavily apologise for that. It could have made this battle a lot better. There we are. That will hopefully make it a lot better, as the Point Breaker's elites now get some pretty nice shots across this river. I will turn it down to just one, because it is quite a loud game by the seams of it. These elites now shooting across the river are going to deal some damage, and it doesn't seem like the Germans will bother to counter it. Oh no, I tell a lie. Here are the forces. Bucharest, Pagnaro, Thomas there, Manascare, all turning their units, and it looks like Point Breaker's elites are in trouble. They don't normally die in shooting matches, because most of the time people are able to pull them out when they realise that they are too low, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like there is much support. He is trying to cross the river here. I'm not sure about this. It seems like the Poles are taking a huge counterattack, but I don't know whether they have the power to do it. They have the veterancy, that is sure, but the absolute numbers of this Argentinian force is way too much for any sort of counter. Maybe it's just another play to get the respawn and try and deal as much damage to these Argentinian forces before they get the respawn. These elites and the cavalry are lurking. They are just hanging around. They are able to avoid the combat, so the firing will be brutal, as it looks like it's mostly just German forces left at this point, with a Lancer force from Random. As we know, he has been doing quite well this battle. With the 10-1 KT, and Baxtona is still lurking with a couple Lancers somewhere, but I don't know where they are. Could this be him right here? Yes, they are. He is flanking right from behind, and well, they don't really have much of a counter to it. They're so veteran that the Lancers can't actually counter them, and they are just going to completely shatter these lines. Baxtona with a huge cavalry charge has absolutely shattered the rear of these Argentinian forces. As much as his Lancers have died, it was worth it for the pure amount of damage that those units did. And it is insane how much veterancy matters in this game. But now, Manascare will just run down these forces. The Lancers just able to turn him back a little bit here. But it looks like all but over for these forces, and the respawn will be coming soon from Poland. Now, there are a couple troops lurking, holding this bridge. There are still howitzers from Nordic Vanguard. The German Emperor, the leader of the German forces, still has his elites around, as much as these Lancers are still here from Random. We will be interested to see what he does with the rest of his forces, but by the seams of it, this is what's left of the Polish resistance, holding across the river from the Argentinian forces. The howitzers here are interested in getting closer to the fire. I don't know whether that is the play here, as the hussars do just like give a little touch to these elites of the German Emperor, but now the Argentinian elites will try and make their crossing, or no, they will just exchange volleys from across the bridge. It may have been a smarter idea to do that and clump up and get shot by the artillery like the Germans are. They are getting shot, they are clumped, they are not looking outstanding right now. They are damaged and they are wounded. And it looks like what's left of the Argentinian skirmishers are in danger here. The Argentinian skirmishers are in danger as Random's Lancers just needs to take them out, and he absolutely smashes those skirmishers. Huge loss for the Argentinian forces. They will not be able to respawn them for a long time, for the Argentinian forces are looking a lot stronger right now than the Polish ones. These Lancers now chasing down the hussars. Even more damage done by Random's Lancers. This play has to be really important in this battle. You will not see a more important play than that this battle, and the Polish forces will soon to be respawning. But these are what's left of any of the combined Polish and German forces. They will try and retreat, they will try and regain health, they will try and save themselves the losses, as I do believe victory depends on the amount of kills to deaths that you have, as Malascari's hussars are going to try and avoid these lancers, but one of them does get caught heavily damaged, but does just about make it out alive. By the seams of it, I'm not sure whether he actually lost that one there. I can't tell. He might have lost that hussar, which would have been important. We know how Malascari uses his hussars. We know that they're important to the Argentinian strategy to lurk around and smash while they're distracted in the infantry fights. This one lancer is all that remains of Polish forces, and it's a huge charge there. Huge charge, but it isn't enough to kill any of Malascari's hussars. Now Polish forces will be respawning any second now. We will have to see. Is that them over there? No. Where are these Polish forces? Am I looking on the wrong side of the battlefield? Or maybe, perhaps I am. Where could the Polish forces be? That is an interesting question. Maybe there are Polish forces left? Alive still? Yeah, I mean, that's my only guess, is that there is a German or Polish force lurking somewhere around or something. The German forces are now setting up here, and here comes the Polish forces that have respawned. We see Random's Lancers causing a huge, well, being the first to lead the charge, but advancing obviously a bit too far from their allies here, with a Meccano and Random leading a little side expedition here, where the main Polish and German force and the Roman mercenaries over here obviously being important. This seems to be the main attack, seems to be coming from the left. It seems like Poland wants to avoid these river fights. They want to engage them on the open field. They want to charge, as much as the Argentinians want to sit across their field, and they just want to exchange fire. They want to sit across a river, they want to exchange fire, seems to be the tactic from the Argentinians. Whereas the Poles are looking heavy into charging, looking for the opportunities to flank. You can't flank across a river very often. It only works so many times, as much as flanking across the river. As much as flanking across an open field would be humongously beneficial. We saw it happen originally from the left at Leipzig and the right across this field here in the exact same style. The Argentinian forces got shattered because they didn't have the numbers to deal with both the right and the left flank at the same time, and it will be a similar fight like that. Will be what the Poles are hoping for. as the forces begin to advance here. The elites and the lines and the howitzers and the cannons all lining up ready for the fight. That is an interesting statement there from the Roman force commander. That is even more interesting statement from the Roman commander. I don't know what to say about that one, and I will heavily say that I do not agree with the sentiment that he has said here today. That is his own beliefs and not my own beliefs. Outside of everything that's going on between the Argentinian forces that have been shattered, it seems like it will be happening again. Rockets being fired, which is a very interesting thing. You don't see rockets very often here from miles. I mean, it's not necessarily a unsmart idea. He wants to prevent them from healing. A lot of these forces are fully healed, but the ones that are damaged he wants to prevent from healing. It doesn't look like they are very damaged though. What's left of these forces are fully healthy, and this is what's getting hit by the rockets. Over here, the Lancers of Alvaro, completely fresh. It doesn't seem to be enough here. Manascare pulling his Hussars back as well. Just looking to be a kiting battle, back and forth from both sides. Currently, here it comes, the huge Polish attack of Lancers by Backstoner and Random. Two important players on the Polish team. They have played huge roles in their cavalry perspectives, and the howitzers will just get farmed. The Argentinian forces, huge blunder not protecting their howitzers, but the Backstoner needs to pull his Lancers out. He will not win this combat, and there it is. Huge failure here by the Polish forces. They did kill the Lancers, but I do not believe that this was good value. There is heavy damage to Backstoner's Lancers. There are heavy damage to the Lancers of Random. Two important players have lost heavy mobility. They will have to sit back and they will have to regain their strength. And, well, a couple of them having lost units is important for the general perspective of things. Although the Argentinian forces, apologies for my stutter there, the Argentinian forces are not looking strong either. The Lancers that did get charged, as much as now veterans, they do need the opportunity to regain, and they do need the opportunity to recuperate. And now the firefight will commence. I don't know who would win the firefight here. I don't think either side would want a firefight. The Argentinians wouldn't want a firefight now because that would give an opportunity for the German forces to the left here to reinforce, but also the Poles. Why would they want the firefight? Because they have the cavalry advantage and the elite advantage. These forces though are veterans, so perhaps that may be why the Polish forces do not want to engage. They do believe that the veterancy of these elites will be enough to crush them. But here comes the push over here. Huge Polish cavalry charge. Huge Polish cavalry charge here. Is it enough? The forces over here, Alvaro and Backstoner's Lancers meet, and Alvaro's Lancers seem to be getting the worst of it. They get completely shattered, with Random and Backstoner doing a huge success. And now these elites are completely cut off from cavalry support. They have no cavalry supporting them. They have nothing supporting them. They're cut off from the entire forces of Argentina, and it just seems to be a complete rout. They are trying to chase anything they can get their hands on. And Manascare's Hussars are trying to get any sort of infantry value, but they just can't find it, and the artillery rains down upon them now. As much as Plant's elites try and get involved, J-Manu loses his elites, and these forces are now too damaged to put up any resistance, and the Polish forces, whether it be cavalry or infantry or artillery, don't have the strength. The Roman forces still looking very fresh here. Yeah. Is that the end of the Argentinian forces? I do believe that was the final push of the Argentinian forces there, and the respawn will be coming soon. as the Polish forces will reorganize now. The Polish forces looking in a very good position though. We will see where this goes yet. And here comes the artillery signaling that new Argentinian forces have arrived. And here they come, completely spawning from the same point, straight into the lines of battle as the Polish forces and Roman forces are set up ready. Well, not really set up ready to defend, but are in a viable enough position to defend this push as the elites make their first attacks of the battle, leading the charge for the Argentinians. Now, the elites are going to be okay, but do they want to take these fights? Does Poland want to take the fights? Obviously, Poland wants to conserve casualties. They have lost not that many compared to the Argentinians, having lost a huge portion of their forces. And here comes the cavalry fight here. The elite, right, or that's not even cavalry, but the elite fight here doesn't seem to be beneficial for the Argentinians, in my opinion. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be going too well. Varian, the leader of the Polish forces, had sack skirmishes there, just finishing off whatever forces are left, as much as the Argentinians make their final push from spawn. It was a heavy first push out of the spawn, but there is no benefit here, and the Hussars are crushing in from the side here by the Hungarian Hussars, doing huge damage here. Huge damage, but it's not enough to have any value on the game by the seams of it. There is not enough troops for the Argentinians. It seems to be just an unbalanced thing, but it's not even unbalanced almost. They have even forces, so it doesn't make sense how they are losing. They have even forces. If not, the Argentinians probably outnumber the Poles now because of their respawn. But it just seems like they're backed into a corner that they need to keep fighting and fighting and fighting for. I will check the current kills to deaths. The Poles are winning 171 to 142. There is a 29-man difference there. And it just seems like there is not enough here for the forces. I do just want to get back onto the field of battle in case I miss anything important. The Argentinian forces now obviously reeling back. They do not have the strength to stand up to the numbers, and there go the skirmishers, just being left and abandoned by these lancers. Here the lancers just, yeah, I wouldn't say abandoned because they do want to save themselves, but it doesn't seem like they are able to save themselves anyway. Yeah, these lancers have just gotten themselves killed, unfortunately. What's left of Argentinian forces consists of Mariscari's Hussars here, trying to be that flare in the Argentinian forces that's trying to kill their infantry, but it's just not enough. They can't find a gap in the line. The Polish lancers are doing way too much damage here, and they just keep denying any Hussar movement. And the howitzer has died, but they have lost all the Hussars from one howitzer there. It just isn't the value that they're looking for. And the Poles will now crush in on whatever is left of Argentina. And there it is. The last of the forces routed. There is now respawning forces once again, coming back to fight. It seems to be a heavy cavalry respawn now. Argentina not having most of its forces respawn yet. Is it yet to come? There is some more forces, more lancers. There seems to be heavy cavalry pushing now. It seems to be cavalry spam. They are getting as much cavalry out as possible. They want to prevent the veterancy from coming to these lines and whatnot, and they are just going to go straight in there. I don't know whether this is the play. It doesn't seem like the play in my opinion. They are blobbing way too much and they will lose a lot, but there is too much cavalry for them to handle by the seams of it. The cavalry is completely crushing in on them. And the Polish forces now have to reel back the lancers, just getting out of there, abandoning the infantry and abandoning the artillery to its fate, as much as these point breakers Lancers will try and run away with their lives. There are also some more Lancers from random here. Oh, and that seems to be the end of the battle. It was a close fight. Well, I'd say it's a close fight, but it seems to be a huge Polish domination there. I'm not sure about the end result on the points, but it was a huge battle that caused had some interesting maneuvers, huge flanking, huge cavalry place, and cavalry having a huge factor, obviously. The infantry fights never seemed to go either side's way. Any infantry engagement just didn't seem like value for either side. Alright then guys, I did return at the end of the battle, future me. I hope you really enjoyed the video. Please do leave a like, share it around, maybe you're interested in Conquest. I will leave a couple links to the discords of the nations involved in the description, the ones that I do have, and I will also leave a link to the Conquest Discord itself in case you're interested in the game. It's completely free, it is on Roblox, so do check it out. It is awesome, and I think you'll really enjoy it if you're into this kind of strategy stuff. And I just want to congratulate Poland on their victory. I'm going to be recording the victories of the leading nations, and I will be building almost a win-loss tally of what is going on. Yeah, thank you guys for sticking it through, and yeah, let me know. Just yeah, I'm intentionally going to make this awkward at the end.